Another project that's going to give this house the upgrade it deserves that involves closing up these gaps around our door, which will not only seal any holes for critters to crawl through, but it'll also make our side yard much prettier. So I start cutting out pieces and we immediately ran into a problem because these door hinges are in the way. So I had to cut around that, and many people don't know this, but there's actually a function on most miter saws that create a stop to prevent the saw from cutting all the way through a piece of wood. In this case, I wanted to only cut halfway through the piece to create a perfect dado cut by flipping this lever and adjusting a screw. And thanks to that feature on the miter saw, I was able to easily cut out those notches to fit around the hinges. We're using wood to create this door casing, and being in Florida where moisture and humidity is a major issue would mean that wood on the exterior of our house is a terrible idea, but we're using an exterior primer to seal all the wood to protect it from the elements. Using PVC is typically recommended for exterior applications because we'd be able to skip the step of sealing it or painting it, but we couldn't find PVC where we were looking for it at the store, so we just stuck with pine. To attach these pieces around the door frame, I couldn't just nail the boards into the stucco because my nail gun wouldn't be able to shoot through that stucco material, so we're using liquid nails, and whenever we're able to use a nail gun, it was when we were attaching a wood piece to another wood piece. And because the wood frame is slightly exposed in between the door and the stucco, I was able to attach a few shims so that when I attach the jambs, they will be straight and fit perfectly. And because I really like how the trim work looked in the interior of our house, we're going to create a few details at the top of this door to match that style. But this piece has to wrap around the corners of the stucco, so it's going to take a few extra cuts to create this piece before we install it. So I used my handheld jigsaw to cut out a couple notches on the end of this piece for it to fit perfectly. And a few extra dollars and a few extra minutes is totally worth the nice detail that it gives. Then, in addition to the liquid nails, I tack it to the other wood pieces that are already installed to strengthen the whole frame. Then, instead of creating a generic casing, I'm adding some crown molding to cap off the door frame, and this is really going to elevate the look of this door. But now we have to pause this video to listen to a very important message from my wife.
I actually taught John how to install this type of trim on this piece of wood. He didn't really know a lot about wood before he married me, and now he does.
She can't even stand straight after that joke. It was so funny. But seriously, there's no better deal than us two. That's no joke. And this header casing is going to be centered over the door and lined up perfectly with the side casing pieces that we're about to install. And to make it a bit stronger, I added a few extra clamps. Then to tack a few nails into wherever I can shoot into another wood board. The framework is all coming together, but the goal is to always make it look like a professional did it. So to make the craftsmanship look impeccable,
I'm gonna caulk the joints so that way we can have zero cracks on this thing.
Adding caulking is not only going to do that, but also make our paint job flawless,
really good.
and this is a very important step I don't want to miss. Then once the liquid nail is cured, I was able to take off all the clamps, and once we're ready to paint our entire house, that's when this door frame and casing will also be receiving a beautiful paint job. But what color do you think we should do?